All right, let's talk about a man who climbed two of the highest mountains in American life, the military and the presidency. His name was Dwight D. Eisenhower, but pretty much everyone just called him Ike.
And this is what's so fascinating. You've got two completely different careers in one lifetime. On one hand, he's the five-star general who basically masterminded the defeat of Nazi Germany. On the other, he's the president who laid the groundwork for modern America. So how in the world does one person do both? And maybe more importantly, what did that incredible journey teach him to fear the most about America's future?
You know, to really understand the leader, you have to start at the beginning, in his pretty humble hometown of Abilene, Kansas. And here's a little piece of trivia for you. He wasn't actually born Dwight. He was born David Dwight Eisenhower.
Yeah, his mom just swapped his names around to avoid mix-ups with his dad, who was also named David. It seems like a small thing, but it's kind of this early sign of the clear-headed, practical thinking that would define his entire life. Fun fact, his mother was a pacifist, and she was pretty heartbroken when he decided to go to West Point, but she didn't stop him.
Now, his early military career wasn't exactly fireworks. For years and years, he was a staff officer, kind of stuck in the background, learning from big personalities like General Douglas MacArthur over in the Philippines. It wasn't glamorous, but it turned out to be the perfect training ground. It taught him all about planning, logistics, and crucially, how to handle massive egos, skills that were about to be put to the test on the world stage.
And then, bam, World War II hits, and all those years of quiet behind-the-scenes work paid off big time. A top general, George C. Marshall, saw Ike's genius for planning and diplomacy. From there, his rise was just meteoric. He shot right to the top, becoming the supreme Allied commander in Europe.
His biggest test had to be Operation Overlord, the D-Day invasion. And this was so much more than just a military problem. It was like a diplomatic tightrope walk. He had to get forces from a bunch of different countries to work together, deal with famously difficult commanders like Patton and Montgomery, and then he had to make that terrifying final call on whether to send hundreds of thousands of men across the channel.
And this right here, this note, tells you everything you need to know about the guy. He knew the unbelievable weight of that decision, and he was fully prepared to take all of it, the blame completely on his own shoulders if it failed. I mean, that is the definition of leadership.
Thankfully, he never had to show that note to anyone. The D-Day landings, as costly as they were, worked. It was the turning point, the beginning of the end for the war in Europe. So that victory makes him more than just a general. He's a national hero, an absolute icon. He was so popular that both political parties actually wanted him to run for president. He eventually chose the Republicans, and just like that, he made the leap from the battlefield to the Oval Office.
And boy, did the American people respond. His campaign slogan was just simple and perfect. I like Ike. He won two massive landslide elections, promising to steer the country through the new fears of the Cold War and all the possibilities of a booming post-war economy. And as president, he got right to work. He called himself a progressive conservative, which meant he kept popular programs from the New Deal going while also launching these huge projects that literally shaped the America we live in today. I mean, think about it. The Interstate Highway System, that was his baby. His logistical brain saw the need for it after a slow army convoy trip across the country and seeing Germany's Autobahn. And when the Soviets shocked the world with Sputnik, he didn't panic. He just created NASA, and the space race was officially on.
But if you really want to see his commitment to the rule of law in action, look no further than Little Rock, Arkansas. The governor there used the National Guard to stop 9 African-American students from going to high school. Eisenhower's response was decisive. He took federal control of the Arkansas National Guard and sent in the 101st Airborne Division, the very same elite soldiers from D-Day, to make sure the court order was followed and those kids got to class.
Okay, so you have this man who has reached the absolute summit of both military and political power. After all that, what did he see as the single biggest danger to the country he'd spent his whole life serving?
Well, in his farewell address to the nation, he didn't warn about the Soviet Union. He didn't warn about some foreign enemy. No, his warning was about a new kind of power that was growing right there, inside America itself.
He gave it a name, a phrase that has echoed through history ever since: the military-industrial complex. What he was talking about was this new, permanent partnership between the Pentagon and the giant defense industry that builds its weapons, an alliance with a staggering amount of economic and political influence.
And his warning was chilling. I mean, think about it. This is a career military man, a 5-star general, telling the American people that this powerful combination of the military and industry could actually threaten the very freedoms it was supposed to be protecting. His last message was a call to action for regular citizens to stay alert and informed, to make sure this immense power was kept in check.
And that's the question he left us with, a question that feels just as urgent today as it did back in 1961. It really makes you wonder what the general president, the kid from Abilene who led the free world twice, would think about the world we've built.